Hey guys, what's going on? Tony Burns, Seminole Hard Rock, here with 2003 WSOP champion and PokerStars Poker Pro and ambassador, great ambassador of the game, Mr. Chris Moneymaker. Chris, first time on property, tell us about it.
First, came in and it was 85 degrees. It's 30 degrees at home, so that's a positive right out of the gate. And the other positive is I never left tournaments when I was on property. I just kept shipping all the tournaments. So as a good thing and bad thing, I wasn't able to see much of the property because I did nothing but play and eat tacos.
I know, just getting in town, I know you had some fun trying to get in here, but once you finally got here, you found some success. Moneymaker Tour, great success, numbers all around. 957 entries here. Obviously you take second place, not eligible for the Platinum Pass, so interesting dynamic three-handed. Tell us about when you got three-handed, knowing that you couldn't win, and what did you, did you exploit them? Did you open your range? Tell us.
Well, of course I exploited them. I mean, they're playing for, their bubble is, an extra 30,000. I'm obviously playing for, my bubble was, for third place was 4,000 and then the $6,000 first place bubble, but I wanted to obviously take that opportunity three-handed to really increase my stack size and to pull out into the lead. So, obviously when I get heads up, or if I get heads up, I was gonna, have a pretty good chip lead to finish it off. And so I definitely exploited my situation. Now Jamin didn't let me exploit it too much. He was calling me pretty wide. Like he wasn't really playing ICM and proper strategy for three on that big of a bubble. I mean, he called a couple of my all-ins with like Jack Queen, and so he was being a little bit frisky. I mean, he was going for the outright victory. He wasn't so concerned about the second place, which, given a bubble of that size, because I mean, it wasn't a first place bubble for them. It was a $30,000 second place bubble, and I know he really wanted that pass. So, obviously he got his money in good against me, really, really good. I mean, I was drawing to a flush draw that was completely stone dead, but
I don't think he's gonna let you live that black 10 on the river down to, anytime soon.
No, probably not. And I hate it for him because I know he's been following the tour and he really wanted to see it, and I was rooting for him. And actually, I hated seeing him being so active when we were three-handed. I mean, I would have liked to have seen him sit back and let me beat them both up a little bit for my sake and for his sake.
Which shows there's no collusion and there's no friends in poker.
Yeah, I know. I mean, no, the guy that won it, super nice guy, really happy for him.
Yeah, Andre's from Miami. He spends half his time in Miami and half in Vegas. Yeah.
But Jamin's been following the Moneymaker Tour. This is the third or fourth attempt he's tried to get this pass, and I know it's something he was really trying to get down here and do. He's got a good vlog series, so I don't root for anybody, but if I had to pick, I probably would choose him just because I know he was following the tour.
Right.
But again, I'm going to punish him just like I would punish my best friend. I mean, I'm not going to collude, and it's kind of weird. I had the exact same dynamic 2 days later in the charity tournament.
Yeah.
Where Platinum Pass up for grab again, and we're three-handed, and the guys were not. They were playing a little bit more. They were folding some big hands.
Yeah, and you guys weren't as deep, obviously, in the charity event, so that had to come into play. But in between the Moneymaker stop, and the charity event, played in the Holiday Deep Stack on that Monday. Great field for that, over $47,000 in that prize pool. Obviously didn't cash in that one, but got to play some cash, and had some got to experience some of the food outlets here. Tell us about Kuro.
Kuro, this bald guy named Todd.
Okay.
Took me to Kuro.
New host here, right?
Yeah, new host. Yeah, I hear he's a pretty good host.
Yeah, not that looking guy.
Debatable, but anyways, it took me to Kuro, and I got to experience tacos that were amazing. The sea bass, which was incredible. We also had some kind of, you made me eat salad, which is not my typical fare.
You mean Todd made you eat salad?
Yeah, that's what I meant Todd.
You're right, yeah.
You are Todd.
No.
Yeah, he's Todd.
Whatever.
So he made me eat salad, which is not my typical fare, but it was actually really good. And then I think we had something else. We ate quite a bit.
Yeah, and the dessert. Got to do dessert on the way out. Yeah, I mean, might as well just finish off the job.
Yeah, so the Kuro was really nice. We were supposed to go to the steakhouse, but I got stood up tonight. So the good thing is with that charity event that I won, I did win a $5,200 package to come back down here. Dinner for two at Kuro and a couple nights stay, and hopefully the new tower that's being built that looks really incredible. I took a picture of the thing that you have laid out in the lobby there of the future. And I sent it to my wife, and she's like, yeah, we're coming with you.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. There's no official date set for the new tower opening.
End of July.
Yeah, once again, disregard that. Hopefully sometime late summer, early fall. Hopefully it'll be ready by then. But
I'm not going to hold my breath.
Yeah, well, you know, if it is, it is. But still, great amenities here on property, a lot to do. You've got the 5K buy-in for next August. So I look forward to having you back down here with the family. So we can't forget about the Rock and Roll Poker Open. Didn't cash or win today's horse event, but won last night's Omaha 8. Used all the run good last night. You called your shot on the horse, but
I just did it wrongly. I called it on the horse, and I meant to do it on the 08. Yeah. The good thing about these tournaments down here, I used all my run good like in the tournaments that I went deep in, and then used all my bad good or whatever run bad in the tournaments I busted. So that's what you're supposed to do in poker. There were 2 tournaments I bombed out miserably, and then 3 or 4, 3.
Yeah, 3.
That I did really well in.
Not bad. Nobody likes a bragger though, Chris.
I wasn't even bragging, man. Come on, Todd.
I mean, over 20,000 in cashes. How about the cash games? What game shop into?
I'm in 510 right now. I've been in 2-5.
We pulled them away from 510.
Yeah, I was playing 510, but I was in 2-5 for most of the week. Played a little 5-5 PLO, played a little 2-2 PLO. Been splashing around. It's been pretty profitable. There's a lot of action in the room. There was a 50-50 PLO game last night, and obviously there's 9-10 tables of 1-2 going on. So it runs the whole spectrum. I saw Big O was on the board tonight. You got some stud 7 going. So I mean, stud 7, stud 8, whatever, same thing.
Yeah, 7 cards,
7
8 qualifiers.
Listen, I've been playing mixed games. I'm tired. Damn.
Yeah, I mean, who loves them more? This guy, he'll win an event, he'll bust an event, he hops right into cash.
True story.
True lover of the game.
I told you when I was coming down here. I told this to every property that I'm going to be in your room. I mean, if I bust the tournament, I come and I sit. I'm there to play. I'm not really there to go sit in my hotel room. And so when people ask me, what kind of amenities do you need in your hotel room? Like a bed and internet. I mean, because I'm never in there.
Yeah. No, so we really appreciate you coming down here, being a part. Having the Moneymaker Tour was an absolute success. The charity event, raised over $14,000 for Feeding South Florida. Great causes all around. So your first time being here, tell us about the players. South Florida. What are you going to take overall leaving South Florida tomorrow?
It's actually a little bit of a surprise to me. I thought coming down here it would be a much, I don't want to say bigger market, but a much more diverse. People coming in, traveling. This is a much more local. Everybody kind of knows everybody market.
Yeah.
I mean, in the cash games especially, people all tend to be friendly and know each other, which is something I really do enjoy. I mean, another room I always go out in California, Stones, it's sort of the same environment. Everybody kind of knows each other, everybody's friendly. Where you go to some places and it's just a bunch of transient people moving in and out. So I was actually surprised coming down here that it was more of a locals and more of a, regular type crowd that come in here. And I will say, just because you're regular doesn't mean you're, profitable. So the action's really good. I mean, Florida poker's definitely evolved over the years. I mean, just a couple years ago, you were playing 100 max bet poker or whatever.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Players in 2009, when they finally opened up the laws for those that don't know, like you said, $100 max buy. So to think over the last decade what poker has evolved into in Florida, it's pretty incredible. So there were some questions that came from Twitter, in-house. Maybe one of them I was put up to. We'll get to that one. But let's hit some of the questions out there. Outside the bluff, the King 7 bluff against Sam and the winning hand. What was one of the most memorable hands or moments of the 2003 World Series?
I mean, obviously there's so many, but I would have to say that the hand that I knocked out Johnny Chan on, at the time I only knew 3 poker players, and he, in my view, was the perfect poker player. That's the way they described him in rounders. That's how they set him up. So Johnny knocking out him gave me a lot of confidence going forward, and obviously it was just a big moment because he was 2 to my left, and that's a tough opponent to have 2 to your left. So
yeah. So we went we talked about the cash in the tournaments. What do you find yourself to be more of a cash or tournament player? I mean, obviously we know you as the WSO champ.
This week tournament. Honestly, most week it's cash. You know, cash is somewhere, you know, if you're a solid player, you should expect to make money in cash more times than not when you play. Or tournaments, I mean, tournaments is variance. I mean, I don't care how good you are, you're going to experience variance. You're going to go through downswings, and even the best players, you generally only cash 15 to 20% of the time. So when you think about it, 80% of the time or whatever, when you walk through the door of a tournament, you're not going to cash, and that's not winning, that's cashing.
Right.
So you know, for consistent money, cash games is where it's at. For all the stars and the interviews and whatnot, it's all tournaments.
Who's your favorite poker player? Obviously, you know more than 3 poker players now, since 3.
I know 5 now.
You know 5?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, who do you look up to the most?
Probably Matt Savage.
Ooh.
I'm kidding. That was for you.
No, I know. But you play better than him in charity events and mixed games now. So, you know, he talked about he's won the last 2 charity events he played.
Yeah.
I mean, you came in here and easily trumped that and showed him who was boss.
He needs to go back to being a tournament director and not trying to be a poker player. He's really, you know, try to dedicate that time to be a poker player. It's wasted time. I mean, you know, he's trying to get into the Poker Hall of Fame, and he fails at that.
But he deserves it.
Does he really?
I think he does.
Does he really?
Yes, he does. For what he's done to the game, absolutely. I mean, once again, we'll put the industry part of it, not his playing part.
Okay, well, if you're going to talk industry, maybe we can talk about me and him both getting in.
Okay.
But,
well,
but if you're talking about playing part, then probably well, he's not in for sure. But
well, it is an election year, so I'm going to say Moneymaker Savage 2019.
We've actually been up for it the last 2 years together, and we always commensurate. I don't care. I don't think I care as much as he does about it, but I commensurate with him at when we find out that we both, you know, get shut out.
Right.
And I expect to get shut out. It's fine. I know how the voting works. So
I mean, it's only fitting that you guys going together. I mean, he was standing behind you when you won your hand, right?
He's been riding on my coattails for 15 years.
You know what? Now it all makes sense. So, all right. Other than not looking up to Matt Savage, who do we look up to that plays the game?
Honestly, Joe Hashem's been my friend for a long time. He's someone I modeled myself after a long time ago. We spent a lot of time together with Poker Stars, and you know, he's a family guy. He's got a a really close knit family. I don't see him as much because he's all the way on the other end of the world. But he would be the guy, you know, if I would say there's anybody that I look up to and respect as a player and a person, it's going to be him.
That's awesome. This one's from fellow world champ and potential coach, I've heard, Joe McKeon. Who is the best poker coach in the world? You don't have to say him. I mean, I know what he's trying to do here. He's trying to get you into...
Calvin Anderson's really good. You know, he helped me a lot back in the day. Calvin actually helped Joe McKeon. So
okay, see, that's where it comes from, Joe. So you can't take all the credit.
I mean, I remember Joe McKeon at the final table. Calvin was sitting in his corner. So, you know, maybe. But you know, I've joined Chip Leader Coaching, and Joe is my coach. It's been phenomenal working with those guys. They put out some great content, and you know, I'm happy. You know, it's obviously worked on my game some, but you know, it takes your own effort. You put in what you get out, and I'm hoping I'm actually talking with Chris Conrad down here. He's about ready to be a coach there, and we've been friends for quite a while, and we're talking about doing some side study together and doing some solver work, and you know.
Awesome. Yeah, I heard you in your interview that you yesterday. You talked about evolving with the game. That early, you said you didn't do a lot of evolving with the time, and now better late than ever.
Better late than never. Honestly, my biggest fault was I won the World Series, and the second event I played was the WPT. I got second in, and so I just felt like I was the best player in the world and didn't need to work. And everybody's getting onto all these 3 bets and 4 bets, and I'm over here trying to play flops and putting everybody on aces and ace king, and they're playing queen 5.
Right.
And that happened for a long time, and then, I attributed my run bad to bad luck and not really bad play, and you get sort of stuck in your ego / vortex of whatever, of making excuses for why you're not cashing, and then you justify it by saying, well, X person hadn't cashed in 70 events, and I only play about 70 events over about a 5 or 10 year period, and so therefore, instead of owning up to it and saying, you know what, we got to figure out what's going on, work on it, and try to get better.
I know you were looking forward to the horse event. You called your shot. What is your favorite non-hold'em? Would it be horse, or 8
game is my favorite variant. You get to play all 8 games, obviously. of the actual events that I like, Omaha 8 is probably my favorite. And
Okay.
then after that, I like all the stud games kind of equally because they're all kind of the same. The least favorite would probably be Hold'em.
Okay. Yeah, we talked about that last night, Limit Hold'em. It was kind of funny to hear him say that he wasn't looking forward to the Limit Hold'em part of horse. So,
And I think that's a pretty much a standard thing around mixed game players. I mean, if you go over there and you ask every mixed game player in that field, what's the least fun game, they're going to tell you horse. I mean, that's the way it is. Or
Hold'em.
Hold'em. What'd I say?
hey, we give you a pass.
That's 2 passes, by the way.
That
now.
is 2, but we've given away 4 passes.
I
you
almost
got
had
2
to.
more.
I
You almost
had
did
to.
have 2.
I do have 3 dinner passes in my pocket, though.
Ooh, you get them all for one last taco run. Fair.
You know it.
Makes sense. So who came up with the idea for the Moneymaker Tour? Was that Stars derived?
It was a joint effort, to be honest. Stars came to all the ambassadors and said, we're going to give you a platinum pass. You can give it away how you want. We want to hear your ideas. And, so everybody came up with their own concepts and, basically pitched them to Poker Stars. And Poker Stars either took the idea or tweaked it or helped or whatever. And the original idea that I had was I wanted to do something to give players, more specifically in the U.S. than anything else, a chance to win a platinum pass because they're giving away platinum passes on internet in Europe, all over the world. There wasn't a whole lot of opportunities in the U.S. to win these passes. So I said, let's give one away here in the U.S. I'm gonna give mine away here. So maybe we can do a small tournament and we can pick like 10 casinos and go to and run a tournament. And the winner of that tournament goes to run it up Reno in October and plays in a sit and go. And the winner of that sit and go gets a pass. And that's sort of the concept and everything that we drew up, and that, and this is probably like March, April time frame. I'm drafting this up. So they came back and they did what they did, reviewed it, and they said, well, why don't we just give a pass at every single stop?
Now we're talking.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Really? And then they came to me and said, what rooms do you want to hit? And so I was from soup to nuts. Myself, Lee Jones, Gary Gates, we were on every single call, on every single planning stage. Now we left a lot of the structure and payouts and the actual running of the tournaments to the individual properties. So we had some tournaments that were super fast. We had some that were a little bit slower and that allowed for more play. Payouts varied from stop to stop. So it was actually pretty cool to play the different variants of it. It wasn't the same structure at every single stop, and it wasn't the same payouts. I mean, we had one that paid out super heavy on the top side, and we had others that didn't pay anything. They just get the pass, and then they started paying at second place. So it was a good variant. I mean, it had a lot of different components to it. At the end of the day, we ended up with 11 stops, one being online in New Jersey on Poker Stars, and the rest were, basically across the U.S., giving people an opportunity to win a platinum pass. Unfortunately, we didn't make it up to the Midwest, which is everybody's biggest gripe.
Yeah.
But as you might be aware, that contract was a pretty big one, and it took some, trying to get through all these different casinos. It wasn't that easy, and we put this together around the World Series time, so we had to get this turned around. We had a couple months, and we were finalizing deals. WinStar we finalized like 2 weeks before the tournament started. I mean, we were constantly, the lawyers were working overtime, burning the midnight oil so we could figure out where we're going to go and where we're going to try to give these passes away.
Yeah, it was an incredible event. We had 2 starting flights, 400 and I believe it was 457 on the one day, and then 560. I mean, excuse me, I want to say we were actually close to 400. We were just felt 387 and 567.
Like
for
you
9.
said 4 and 6.
Yeah, my guess was 4 and 6. I mean, we were right there, and like I said, it was the players came out, and on behalf of everybody here, they had a blast seeing you. Like I told you that you were great with all the players' photos and so on the stories. So I know the players appreciated it, and we appreciated you being here. So
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a blast. I love playing poker when everybody's having a good time.
Speaking of obviously the end goals to get the platinum pass to go down the Bahamas 2019, will you be at the PSPC?
I'll definitely be at the PSPC. I plan on participating in the event, and I'll be coaching a couple of the players. Some of the people that have won passes, I'm going to be coaching them. We've got every person that's won a PSPC pass, we've signed them up in a Facebook group, and every single week a different Team Poker Stars pro is talking on a topic and educating them and preparing them for this $25,000 event, whether it be from things to do with the Bahamas, tournament strategy, staking, you know, all these questions are being asked and answered in this little Facebook group. So it's going to be a really fun adventure over the next 2 months of getting these guys ready to come down and play, and just being in this group and listening to these guys' stories, and you know how some of them won the event, and you know everybody won their event, their past different ways. So you have some people that are, you know, really good players, and you have some people that don't even know how to spell poker, essentially, as Helmuth would put it.
Yeah.
So they run the spectrum, and it's a really cool dynamic, and it's cool to see all these people from different countries and different areas, you know, communicating about poker, and you know, it's a fun growth of the game.
Yeah, when Gary was talking about the amount of players that I didn't realize that it was a lot more international players, like you just talked about, and the fact that you gave a lot of U.S. players that opportunity to win. I didn't realize the balance, how international heavy it was, but you know, I know the players from the U.S. that have won their passes. They all seem excited. The Facebook chat that you guys, you know, kind of just showed me, that was really cool concept.
And also, one thing about, you know, the tournament structure we did, I mean, you know, people start thinking about this stuff, and you look at like the old Poker Stars where you'd have like 20,000 runners in a free roll, and it's just like impossible. Yeah. If you actually followed this tour, the Moneymaker tour, and you were a decent player, you had really good opportunities to win a pass. A guy, Nathan, who was in Jamie's Ultimate Sweat trying to learn Japanese, he said in the beginning of the year he's going to win a Platinum Pass. That was his goal. He got really close with Jamie's. He was like a finalist for the Platinum Pass with Jamie's Ultimate Sweat. But he also, what he did is also followed the Moneymaker Tour, and he played almost all the stops. And he finally won his pass in Reno. He got close at another stop, but he ended up winning a pass in Reno. So this wasn't an event where, you know, it's just complete luck of the draw. I mean, it was, you know, you had a chance to actually win this, and good players could actually come out and, you know, make this dream a reality if you put the work in.
And you did tell me you liked the structure that we had, nice 30-minute levels. I mean, there was plenty of play.
Did Matt recommend the structure to you? Or?
I did not speak to him about the structure.
Todd, no. You did a great job on the structure. It was really good. You know,
this Todd guy, I gotta find this new guy.
All right, for everybody wondering, this is Tony. Yes. I made the mistake of sending a text message, and it autocorrected to Todd, and then it was to Matt Savage, and Matt just exploded.
He's made my day a lot of fun.
Everybody's calling him Todd.
Everybody's calling me Todd. Actually, it's my brother's name, so I told you, you're not cutting me that deep by calling me my brother. So, and my mom does it all the time, so it's nothing new. So.
Well, when I walk in this morning and say it's Todd here, and everybody starts just hyena laughing, I know it's stuck a little bit.
Everybody's calling your bluff on the autocorrect. They're saying that the N and the D. I said you talk about Todd Gurley a lot, so I'm like, you know, it's on the fantasy side, you know. So
I mean,
I'm trying to defend you on the autocorrect.
Let's put it this way: I did an autocorrect with my wife that it was so far wrong. I can't remember what it was. It wasn't anything, you know, bad, but it's like I was trying to say something, and it was like this real long word that.
Yeah.
It was bad.
I mean,
so my phone just decides every once in a while that it's going to say whatever the hell it wants.
I'll blame it on Apple, and I'll give you another pass. That's 3.
I'm getting 3 passes.
You got 3.
That's a lot of passes I'm getting down here.
We've given out 4. We're going to give out a 5th one at the end of the rock and roll.
Do I get this one too?
Well, you're in the drawing, but you'll be scrubbed out. You know, as that non-qualifier. So
I get scrubbed a lot.
If you're this 2 more questions.
Yeah.
If you're at a casino and you're not playing poker. You said you're not in your hotel room, so what else are you doing on property?
Well, I mean, I'll venture down and play the pits. I'm not a big pit guy, but I'll go down and I'll play baccarat. I'll play a little blackjack, but it's going to be, you know, a couple $100 here or there, something just to, you know, get out of the poker room a little bit. But the majority of the time, I'm in the poker room. As you might be able to guess, I like to eat.
We got to eat.
Everybody's got to eat. And a guy actually down here, he invited me to go to dinner one night, and I'm like, dude, you eat keto. I'm like, I'm not gonna eat with you. I mean, we can go hang out, we can go eat. I'm not gonna watch you eat lettuce. So I like to eat, so I spend some time in some restaurants. And then, you know, if by chance I'm feeling the mood, I'll go by the pool. You know, this trip I didn't feel so, but there's times I'll go to the spa and, you know, do different things. But for the 90% of the time, I'm either in a tournament or cash game, and that's where I am.
And that's
or
true.
A buffet.
And but the empanadas. Found the empanadas.
I had empanadas today too.
Did you?
Yeah,
Did you make it healthier with the mayo?
I did. The guy said he wants healthy food. I said, just put mayo on it.
It makes everything better.
It makes everything healthy.
That's it. And now the last question. Once again, I didn't come up with this one. I don't know who did.
Thanks, Lucas.
Okay, well, you said it, not me. Is Moneymaker your real name?
Joe Stapleton asks me this every time I see him. It's like his favorite question to ask, and I've been giving the same answer for almost 13 years now.
Remember, we got to keep it PG. With state. I mean, I know it's states involved, but
No, I say yeah, it is,
okay.
and he'll never believe me.
Right.
Well, just because Stapes is involved, you're gonna think that we're gonna be a sailor?
Well, not a sailor, but we just got to keep it. Just a reminder. I don't
See,
know what
Stapes,
you tell
this is
Stapes.
what we think. This is what we think of you, Stapes. He has to. Right when he hears your name, he's like, "Oh, alert, alert, alert!"
Well,
PG.
I've heard some of the comedy skits, so you never know.
That's true. He does have some.
I got reasons.
You do have reasons, but the good thing about Stapes is I saw one of his comedy skits. Me and Fatima DeMello saw one time, and we got to throw tomatoes at him. That was really enjoyable. It's out there on YouTube. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll have to check that one out.
It was quite embarrassing for me, by the way. Fatima's an Olympic athlete. She's a girl, but she's an Olympic athlete, so her arm is just much better than mine.
Yeah.
And it was evident on.
So she lit him up and you didn't. Basically.
I know I lit him up, but I lit him up with 30 mile an hour.
Oh, okay.
And she was like
bringing it.
Pew! Yeah, she was bringing it. Like when she was getting ready to throw, he would duck and cover.
Nice.
When I was getting ready to throw, he was just like, "Come at me, bro."
Gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, it was pretty embarrassing. But
So, well, once again, thanks for taking the time with us, answering the questions. In recap, what are you taking away most from South Florida back home?
nice weather, nice people, more of a locals place than I had imagined. A lot of really nice people here with the fact that they're also expanding into just a much nicer property. So it's going to be exceptional when I come back down in August, and it's going to be opened up, and the pool's going to be great. The family's going to have a good time.
You must have like insider intel that nobody else has here.
I mean, I'm just, I'm hoping for hope, because if my family gets down here and they don't see the big guitar that's open.
Well, it's gonna be right there. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be good. It'll be a good over under part of your bet stars.
Now if the guitar's not open, the pool's gonna be open, of course.
Oh,
right?
for sure.
Like the big pool.
Well, the pool that you didn't go to. You have so many things to try out when you come back. I mean, you got Council Oak, you got the pool.
What else do I have? A Council Oak's the steakhouse, which you've been trying to get me to, but you stood me up.
I didn't stand you up. You went and had empanadas with mayo. Let's just keep it what it is.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have done that if I would have gotten a text from you. Hey man, let's go have dinner later.
Why does it have to be on me to take you to dinner? I mean, you did score for $20,000 in cashes. I mean, come on.
Well, you mean take you to dinner?
Well, on that note, Chris and I are going to wrap up here. He's taking me to dinner right now with all of his winnings while he's been here. The heater is real, guys.
Do you have McDonald's on property?
Right across the street, actually. So book it. I'll take what I can. Guys, Chris Moneymaker, once again, pleasure to have him here on property for the first time. And Chris, on behalf of everybody here in
Tony,
South Florida,
thank you very much.
Got it right.
I appreciate it. Lucas, I hate you.
Whoa.
A little violent at the end.